skills. You see, your technique has absolutely nothing to do with why you crack in a fight. You see, you crack because the autonomic regulation system has crashed. It has not been trained properly. So a lot of people think when they go into this zone and you start getting anxious in fights and you start losing composure, it's nothing but the nervous system destabilizing. Herein lies why you must concentrate on training the nervous system. As we talk about here all the time, it's so important. Your internal state is exactly what gets you from point A to point B in high level boxing or any competition for that matter. It just matters so much more during boxing because boxing requires so much cognitive power, and that triggers anything inside of the nervous system. Once that brain starts to go haywire, then the nervous system operates in the same manner. It actually doubles down on it. So therefore, this is why you experience neuroplasticity. And that's when the sympathetic nervous system is triggered. But your objective is to realize the science behind this stuff so that you can prevent it. But when it's said and done, this is how you actually have to go about it, because in boxing, we want to know protocols. So you have to think about exactly what you're asking your athlete. It's not if they can continue to throw right hands, left hooks, or if they got good footwork. Is can you stay regulated while executing those skills? You see, that's what's not being answered. And so therefore, that's why when athletes go to competition, everybody thinks they fold under pressure, but the fact of the matter is not. It's their autonomic system. They cannot do it if their state crashes. And we have to be conscious of that. And it's a lot to ask because it's an entirely different language. But this is understanding the principles of, can you train your internal state? Because if not, it collapses in the brain, starts picking up signals that trigger it, and it causes you to go into fight or flight. And that looks like you're panicking, but it has nothing to do with your skills. See, you got to realize this, that the way that an athlete, let's just say Sugar Ray Robinson, whenever they train state stability. They don't train conditioning. So sometimes when you see an athlete, Mayweather and those guys jumping rope, Muhammad Ali doing all the running 10 miles forward, 2 miles back, you're seeing that. That's shiny object syndrome because you're not looking at what's actually going on under the hood. They're not training conditioning. They're training state stability. It's an entirely different language. So here we go, thinking it's all how much we put out, how many miles we run, how many medicine ball slams we've executed, how many sprints we did, and how many hills we ran, how many sparring rounds. See, the nervous system has nothing to do with that output. You have to concentrate solely on making sure that your autonomic regulations, everything is holding up. If you go through particular tests and your body is not able to put out the repetition in the manner in which it's required, then what you're going to find is that that doesn't get checked off the list as in our camp. Our camp does not miss those kinds of things. When we teach athletics, you learn neurological and nervous system and digestive, which is number one in that order, in reverse. Digestive is first, and then what? The parasympathetic nervous system follows what? The brain. Wherever the brain goes, everything flows. So we got to be careful when we're looking and training athletes over like crazy, because the bottom line is, when you understand the autonomic regulations, you're going to hold the same kind of output and ability as the late great Sugar Ray Robinson, because he was not just training skills. You learn your skills in the amateurs. When you go to the pros, you learn craft and you understand how to regulate your body, state stability. All of those things are a part of your new vocabulary when you're standing in front of your trainer. So that's why we teach the principles first of boxing. Anytime you're operating at a very high level, your objective is not to run more, spar more. Those things start to go down when you've operated in a manner, in the sense of the manner, to really trigger and develop your nervous system to a key point. And if you don't, what will happen is you'll find yourself being called someone who cracked under pressure, and your skills had absolutely nothing to do with it. Technique is not measured by the nervous system. None of it. It's what you can do when you have skills. It changes based on the temperature in the room. You ever seen a fighter who has good skill beating guys up? Let's go back to Adrian Broner. Adrian Broner looked like the next coming of Floyd Mayweather, in the same manner in which Kobe Bryant looked like the next coming of Michael Jordan. But when the heat turned up, Marcos Maidana, he crumbled because he had not rehearsed state stability. His nervous system was not regulated for that kind of output competition. And so we're looking at one thing, but you're assessing it in a different way. But in the back of your mind, you know it's something different because you've seen him perform that way. But the difference in that, and when you got an athlete and you install that, skills versus installing. Skills is based on the temperature in the room. When you install these things, everything makes sense, because under no matter what kind of duress you're under, you can perform in any state. It's called state stability. So therefore, you don't wilt when things get tough. You are able to adapt to any situation. You learn to stay calm in the eye of the storm. State stability, understanding the difference between skills and the difference between installing. In the school of boxing, and this is why I made it clear to the coaches, if you're not a student, don't come into my school, right? We've 15 years running online. And I say, I keep it at a certain degree of types of people, because not everybody has the brain width or the bandwidth to learn real stuff. And we have to have that as a roadblock when people come into the school and develop not regular fighters. When we develop hybrids. The nervous system stabilized. Their cognitive bandwidth is at max because that's what we develop in them. And their mental fortitude matches. They have the algorithm of a fighter because it's instilled in the manner in which they train under duress with the measurables. It's not, it's rocket science to some degree, but for human beings. And if you are following that protocol, you're not getting into a situation where your sympathetic nervous system is being triggered, because you are already tested and you have those numbers that back you up, that say, I'm regulated to go up under that kind of stress, that kind of duress. This is a different level of boxing. You see, this is the school of boxing, the institution of higher learning. And the reason why that is because there are different levels of educated fighters and trainers. And when you're doing it right, there's always going to be a degree of separation from you. So if you don't want to be in a situation where your system is not properly regulated and you're finding yourself in fights, if you look at what just happened a couple of weeks ago, heavyweight versus cruiserweight, the body wasn't fatigued. That was the nervous system not regulated. He did not have the internal clock. That internal state collapsed and everything shatters. So it doesn't matter what you were doing in training camp because the measurables don't align up. Don't get caught out there like that. Pressure in most situations bursts pipes. But when your immune system, your nervous system are regulated properly, it makes diamonds. So if you want to continue to understand how to make diamonds out of your athletes or become one, then you continue to follow for more. For those of you who are inquiring about the School of Boxing, I'm going to leave a link typically down in the description below. It's the University of Higher Learning. It's the Harvard. So only serious people who see their future in boxing belong there. And if you're in that position, understand this is not a game. This is real science. So thanks again. I appreciate you guys for being on the channel. What's up, chat? Special shouts out. I've trained over 45 world champion fighters. Guys like Ray Mercer, Oliver McCall. I've chief sparring partners with Manny Pacquiao, but Vladimir Klitschko. I've run camps with Emmanuel Stewart. My upline is George Benton, Coach Anthony Bradley, Kenny Adams, over 200 titles of his own. I've come along. I built the School of Boxing, 15 years running, and over 300 champions from amateur levels to MMA across the board. I've written 30 books. I understand the science of boxing. I escorted Muhammad Ali's first wife to the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul event because I am boxing lineage. I am boxing history. I'm Generation 5, and I'm passing the knowledge on to you. So there's a little backstory. Someone asked me, who have I trained? It's more like, who have I not trained? I'm the advisor of a multitude of guys, and I got 3 world champions that are on my board. So if that's not credibility, there absolutely is none. So I thank you guys for being on the channel and learning. It's all about not what you know, but what you don't know that'll get you burned in boxing. Remember, skills versus installation. Over here at Master Boxing, we install the nervous system, cognitive bandwidth, everything that will get you when you don't see it coming. That's where we work in the pressure scenarios, because I work in environments where mistakes are expensive. So long. See you next time. Be blessed.